I sort of learned to view the world very differently because of how many times I've been screwed the hell over. When did this become okay to shit on someone so much because of something that like has nothing to do with you? He was like, oh my god, this girl has 1 point something million followers. Really? Now you want to be my best friends now that you know how many followers I have? Is that all you fucking care about, man? Oh,
It's like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Like, this is what it sounds like. I'm not even kidding.
that's so true. It sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone.
Hey guys, welcome back to Distracted. We are just here to distract you. I'm not sure if I'm sticking with that catchphrase yet, but I don't know. I kind of like the sound of it. I am here with Lucy. She's helping me behind the camera with the whole setup and everything, and also she's actually been brought onto the team as well to help with everything else, like Belcia. So a little introduction to Lucy. Say hi. So yeah, Lucy will be just asking me questions along the whole of the podcast. So if you hear like another voice, that's who it is.
It's not a ghost.
It's not a ghost. Exactly. So today's podcast, we're basically going to be talking all about the influencer world, all the ins and outs, all the behind the scenes, everything that like I guess you guys don't see and a lot of people don't talk about. Like, this isn't like a little bullshit like, oh yeah, like I have to take 100 pictures just to get one. Like, no, like this is like the real shit, the real truth, the real like story behind influencer worlds, and like not just the sugar-coated version and not just the version that you see everybody talk about that you're tired of hearing, that it's just like, yeah, I get it, okay, you have to post twice a day, great, good for you. Like, no, we're here to talk about some more of the serious stuff behind the scenes that you guys really, really, really do not see, and I've not seen anybody talk about. And it's stuff that I feel like you guys should know. Like, you guys should know who you're looking up to, like the people that are just completely fake in this industry, and like the stuff that is being done behind the scenes, like the actual like just the industry itself and all of the stuff that comes with it. So yeah, this is gonna be a juicy one. I'm a little nervous because I might get a bit of backlash from like the actual influencer like community for this one, because I am like sort of, I'm not exposing but exposing.
You're just talking.
Yeah, I'm just sort of really, really, really want to go into the truth behind everything, and people need to know, you know, people need to know. And also this can be really helpful if you are, you know, aspiring to do this job, or even if you look up to someone in this job or something like that. And it can really show you like what really goes on behind the scenes, like the stuff that happens, the people that get screwed over, the companies that will screw you over, just a lot of stuff, okay? It's gonna be an intense one. So what's the saying, like, grab your horses?
Grab your horses.
So hold on to your horses.
Hold on to your horses, girls.
What's the actual saying though? Is it like,
Anyway, hold on to your horses.
is it hold on to your horses?
I think so.
Isn't it like grab your like,
Definitely not grab. Grab your horses.
isn't it like grab your seats or grab onto your, hold on to your like pants or something? We don't know. Okay, let's just move on from this because it's not making any sense.
Just get your horses ready.
Yeah, but just basically prepare yourself because it's going to be an intense one. Grab some popcorn, get a cup of tea.
Yeah.
We're going to be here for a while. It's going to be a juicy one, so let's just get into it. The reason I wanted to do a video like this, because you might be questioning, like, Bella, why do you want to basically like shit where you eat? You know what I mean? Like, why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
But I just feel like there needs to be more honesty and more transparency between like people on Instagram, people that are consider themselves influencers. Like, what are you really influencing? Are you really actually helping people out? Or are you making their lives worse? Are you making them feel shit about themselves? Are you making them doubt their own reality? Are you making them buy products that are absolute bullshit and do not deserve to be promoted just for a quick buy-in and a quick cash out? So there's a lot of stuff that I want to go through in this podcast. Obviously, we're going to start a little bit lighter and then really go into the in-depth stuff in a bit. Okay, so a big reason for doing this as well is I find that on social media, a lot of people look up to influencers. Like, I'm sure you have someone online that you look up to, that you know, admire, that you you know, look at their content and you want to like copy their style, or like you're inspired by them to do what they're doing and all this kind of stuff. But you really sometimes have to take a step back and realize, who are you actually inspired by?
Yeah.
Who are you actually looking up to? Because you have no idea who that person really is. And a lot of the times, like, I've come across so many people in this industry that I'm just like, you are nothing like your social media.
Yeah.
Like, you portray this image of someone that's maybe super hardworking, super rich, Birkin bags left and
Yes.
right, Chanel this,
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton that. Like, they portray this image of like, look at me, I'm so rich, be like me. When in reality, they are nothing even close to that.
Yeah.
So I think a really important thing to touch on is just really take a step back and realize who you're investing your money into, investing your time into. What are these people actually like, and are they really a good influence, or are they just a cashed out influencer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are they just there for the money? Because I've seen it time and time again. So many people don't care about their followings.
Yeah.
So many people don't care what products they're promoting. They don't care if it's gonna damage someone or be like unhealthy for someone,
Yeah.
or, you know, just take the money from the person buying it for a bullshit product that doesn't even work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like an interesting thing with that as well is like, that's the thing where obviously they don't really care, but then
Yeah.
also I feel like people fake caring.
Oh,
So, like,
100%.
apologizing to like the followers for, you
That
know.
is a deep topic. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're
like,
very,
all
very
these
true.
apology videos, but like, you're just gonna go do the same thing again. Like, are you actually sorry, or are you just doing that so you don't lose followers? Like, you know?
T. No, but that is spot on, because let's get into that. Should we just dive in deep into that?
Go
Okay.
straight in.
So you see a lot of apology videos online. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sat here like, yeah, I'm a massive influencer. Like, I'm a small, tiny fish in the sea of massive sharks in the industry. You know, you have like the Logan Pauls, the James Charles of the world. Like, they're big, they're celebrities status, you know what I mean? Like, I am nothing in this industry, but I feel like I do have some experience with like the past 3-4 years of being in it to some degree, that I have sort of seen it firsthand. I've met a lot of these people. I sort of see the behind the scenes work, and it's there's a lot of fake shit. Let's just say that there's a lot of fake shit. And what you said about fake apologies is massive. Like, let's have a little example here.
Let's say, have you got any examples?
I have many examples, but let's start with the one we both know who we're on about. So this girl, influencer, she lives, you know, around this area. And it was like during lockdown, during COVID, did she have a party, or she went to a party?
I think she went to a party.
She went to a party, and like there was some guys there that basically put her up on their story.
Yeah.
And a lot of her followers saw that, and they were like, what the hell? Like, we're in a very, very strict lockdown right now, and you're out partying when you're not meant to be. It's like not legal, not allowed, whatever. And she got a lot of backlash because the videos went viral, went all over social media, got a lot of backlash, got a lot of unfollows from people, a lot of hate. And I think it was a few days later, maybe not even 2 days.
Maybe like a day.
Maybe
Like the
even a
next
day.
Yeah.
And she posted this long-winded apology on her story. And it's just on YouTube. And it was just the fakest thing ever, because let's be real, you're not sorry. You know what I mean? You are not sorry. Why are you apologizing for something that you're actually not sorry for, just to please like people, just to please your audience, just to please people online?
Yeah, and also like I feel like we've had this chat before, like if you're not sorry, like don't fake the apology, just own it.
Yeah.
Like literally just like don't address it. If you don't want to draw any more attention to it, if you don't want to be fake and give a fake apology, just ignore it. Like you don't owe them anything. Like 100%. I don't know why people feel like they owe. I don't know. I just feel like people will lose respect for you if you fake it, because I'm like, she's gone out to parties since that apology during the same restrictions, so like you weren't sorry.
No, that's the thing, because like if she was actually sorry, we're obviously not going to mention the name of this person, because we're not trying to like attack anybody, we're not trying to like throw hate towards anybody, we're just talking about the issue as a whole. The situation. So if you were actually sorry and you posted the apology online, you posted a YouTube video, you ranted on your story for ages, but then after that you still continued to go to parties, but you were just trying to be a bit smarter about it, it's just fake. Like I'm all for people owning up to their problems, or owning up to their mistakes and saying sorry for something and apologizing and truly meaning it. If you're going to post an apology video, that's amazing. That's great. Yeah. Taking accountability and taking responsibility for your own actions, awesome. But only do it if you mean it, because you can see straight through, and there's so many apology videos and you're just watching them like, I saw you like going to 10 other parties in the past week. Like, what do you mean you're sorry? Like, you've literally done the same thing again so many times after the apology.
And like an example, I mean, I don't know facts on this, but didn't James Charles, no hate on him either, like, you know, but didn't he do an apology video because he was talking to an underage guy? Yeah. And then he did another apology video because he was talking to another underage guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, these apologies, like, be careful again who you look up to, because a lot of these apologies aren't real. They're not sincere. They're not like they're genuinely sorry. I'm not saying that we know if James Charles is genuinely sorry or not. That's like not my place to say. I don't know him, but you have to consider the fact that these apologies are PR moves. It's a business at the end of the day, and if, like, let's say a company does something and they screw up, they apologize for it because they don't want to lose customers.
Yeah, you're damaging your brand. Yeah.
And when you see an influencer apologizing for something that they're clearly not sorry or remorseful for, even though it may seem like it, it's not because they care about you. It's not because, like, this is intense. I'm sorry for being so straight here. I'm like sort of shitting where I eat almost.
You're an individual.
Exactly.
They don't know you.
Exactly.
You know?
So just like, not all influencers. There are some people that genuinely do care, you know. But a lot of them, they're not saying sorry, they're not apologizing, they don't feel bad because, like, oh yeah, like, I hurt my audience, like, my audience trusted me and this, like, no, they're saying sorry because they see you as a customer. They see you as
you are paying their rent.
Exactly. They see you as a business, they see you as a client, as a customer, as someone that's going to buy from them, as someone that's going to help them get sponsorships, as someone that's going to help them cash out and get money. So that's why a lot of these apologies are just so fake. And I hate it. Like, I genuinely hate it. It makes me sick to my stomach because I'm so tired of seeing people bullshit and not just be true to themselves. Like, if you're sorry for something, say sorry for it. If you're not, like, life isn't all about money, and it isn't all about just pleasing everybody and just, like, having a good image and everything. Like, you want to be yourself and, like, take accountability when you feel like you should, and not apologize for stuff that you're not sorry for. Like, it's just even like, take away the influence aspect of it. Like, you wouldn't do that in real life to people.
I know.
If you had like an argument with your friend or something, and you were, like, you know, adamant that you weren't sorry about it, you didn't think you did anything wrong, would you apologize? I mean, probably not, unless you were just trying to, like, soften it. Exactly. There are some situations where I think softening the burn is like a good thing, because you're sort of waving the white flag. But in this case, it's not about, like, not hurting someone's feelings. You're not trying to not hurt your friend's feelings. You're just trying to not lose your customers, trying to not lose that bag. And I am tired of it, like, on the internet in general, like, just seeing it over and over and over again with so many creators. And I feel like we're growing into a culture where everyone's apologizing for everything. Like someone can't even say a tiny little, like, I need to be careful how I phrase it.
There's differences as well, though. Like, I just feel like that situation, sorry to bring it back up, is just, like, you can read it. Like, before I even met you, because I watched that video before I knew an influencer properly, you know? And I just felt like hearing your opinion on things and stuff, I just felt like I could read straight through it, and I'm assuming that other people could as well. Like, I wouldn't be the only one.
Everyone that knows her in person knows that it's absolute bullshit.
Bullshit.
And it's I feel like we're growing into a really toxic place on the internet where you can't have a real opinion anymore. take Joe Rogan, for example. Do you know who Joe Rogan is? Joe Rogan is amazing. Love him. Like, watch all of his podcasts. But he mentioned something about like a vaccine opinion or something.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree or disagree, or that doesn't matter. Like, my opinion on the subject does not matter at all.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that like he can't even give an opinion, or he can't even say anything without getting hundreds and thousands and thousands of comments of hate. And that creates a place where it's very toxic. People can't voice their opinions anymore. Everyone is censored. Everyone is like in this PG-13, like, oh my God, I can't offend anybody. So I cannot say anything or give my honest opinions about anything, because literally even like the smallest opinion can piss off like 10,000 people.
And I feel like with the vaccine, again, my opinion, you might want to cut this if it doesn't sound great, but I just feel like my opinion with the vaccine situation it's not personal. So like, why are people coming for people personally? Like, like they've said like, oh my God, your mum is. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like.
So I feel like people got. So I kind of understand it in a way. So I feel like people got pissed off because he has such a massive influence. Yeah. So Joe Rogan is massive. You know, his podcast is pretty much the biggest one in the world, and a lot of people watch that might be, let's say, more susceptible to what he's saying. So if he says like, hey, I'm not going to give my kid the vaccine, a lot of other people wouldn't as well. But it's a debate. Like, you can debate this topic because there are two sides to it, and I do see two sides to things. And you know, I understand with influence or with power comes responsibility. I get that, but at the same time, like, where do you draw the line between someone? Like, he literally won't be able to talk about anything anymore if he can't give some sort of an opinion on something. It's just becoming more and more and more like pressure and more muted and more censored. And it's like, God damn, like, I miss the old days where like the type of shit you'd hear in music, TV, like anything was just like, whoa. And if any of those things happen nowadays, people would be like, what the fuck? Like, you know, and they'd get cancelled for it. And don't take me wrong, like, I'm not saying this in terms of racial inequalities or the LGBT community. Like, there are so many like very, very, very valid reasons to be very upset with someone, and there are lines that you just shouldn't cross anyway. Obviously, I have no tolerance at all for like racism or any like serious topic that that's very personal, and it's very like, there's a massive history behind it. Like, it's I won't even go into that because it's long, but in those situations I completely understand it. Like, you know, that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, like, for very small things that aren't exactly like, he's not attacking a certain group. He's not attacking anybody in specific. He's not like, you know, being racist. He's not like using any slurs. Like, is it really something to get that offended over someone having an opinion of something that is their own choice? Does that make sense?
I have a question for you then on that topic.
Oh God.
So with there being, you know, I'm sure, as we've just touched on, like, people are aware anyway, like a lot of fake influencers. Do you have many influencing friends, like, as in friends who are influencers, like their job title is influencer? Yeah,
I definitely have a good few. I've met a lot. Many of them. The majority not so great, to be like completely honest. Obviously, we're not gonna name drop, but a lot of terrible ones. A lot of people that I even looked up to in the past, and it, you know, the saying goes like, "Don't meet your idols." And like, hell no. And it's true, man. Like, damn, have I been disappointed with people that I looked up to? That's why nowadays I don't look up to many people, you know, because a lot of them just, you meet them and you're like, wow, I looked up to this. Like, you're a horrible, mean person. Like, terrible. But I do definitely have friends that are influencers, and, you know, along with the terrible ones, there are also very, very great people in the space. But in comparison, there's a lot less.
And when you say like horrible, and well, I really exaggerate that, horrible. But when you say that, what do you mean by that? Like, what was the environment like, and was that at like, you know, like events, or was that like at, like, what was the situation when you had that experience, or was it a friendship that turned bad? You know, like.
It's never been a friendship that turned bad. I've never had any of those with any of like the influencer friends. Because usually if someone's cool, like they're cool and like we get along, and there's like, I'm not a very drama-y person. Like I don't really like fall out with friends very often. Like that just doesn't really happen. It's usually just the ones where you meet them and you're like, wow. Like just you know when you just know and you're like, whoa, the vibe is just not there. Like they're just terrible, like mean-spirited people that are just out for themselves. Like I've been to, you know, some like events in the past for different companies, like a company that I used to work for, and this was actually like my first ever event. So I was smaller as well. I think I had like 80k or something. I was so excited because I was like, oh my god, like this is insane. Woo, I've made it. Like this is like so cool that I get this job. Like I'm gonna meet like such inspiring people. They're gonna be my best friends. Like we're gonna have a great time. Like, and I was going into it so naive because I'm a very like welcoming person. Like if someone's nice to me, I'm so like more than nice back. Yeah, and I always like hope the best for people in terms of like, you know, I not expect, but I look at it positively, like, yeah, they're going to be a nice person. So I do get really disappointed, especially back then when I was more naive. So excited for it, literally like was looking forward to it for months, sorry. And then I got there and a little lost for words, to be quite frank, like a little lost for words.
As in, like, were they, like, not very welcoming back? Like, not very talky? And, like, was there, like, cliques?
Oh, hell yeah. Question. Oh, hell yeah. There was definitely cliques. And it's weird because, like, you know how you get cliques in high school and stuff where you have, like, your, like, the mean girls or the popular kids, the nerdy kids, the, like, artsy kids. Yeah, like, little cliques like that. Instead of it being like around the topic, so let's say like people played netball, there'd be like the little netball team or like the little artsy group. It was about numbers. Yeah, exactly. So it was like the cliques around numbers, and it was the most bizarre thing.
Numbers is in like following, likes,
following, exactly. And honestly, when I got there, it was the most bizarre thing that I could have never seen coming. I didn't expect it. I just thought, like, you know, we all work for the same company.
Yeah, we're
like
all in the same industry.
Yeah, like people like you help people, they help you. Like you're just friends. Like you have like, it's like a community. You know, that's what I thought it was. I was like, this is so sick.
That's a really good way to put it. Community.
Yeah, because when you join like I don't know, like let's say an office job at some like if you work for Apple, in that like little community, in that bubble where like
community.
The little Apple community.
No, that's so true, because I feel like not being an influencer, looking at influencers, I see them as a community. Another question which I'm getting onto now is they all seem to know each other and be friends and comment on each other's food. Is that I need answers. Is that like is it PR? Is that like a strategic move? Yeah.
Like, definitely. Yeah. That's a really good question, and oh my god, yes. Like the majority of the friendships, again, not all of them. I know people that are genuinely friends and they don't care about numbers, and maybe one of them has 1 million, one of them has like 200k or something. Actually best friends, really, really close, but 99.9% of it, when you see people like two influencers as friends online, it's fake. It's completely fake. Like totally fucking fake.
Like, no, I get that so much. And it's almost like you're using each other it's like a climb to the top. Oh. And we're just going to keep bouncing off each other and see who gets there first. Like, that's the vibe I get,
Literally, and it's sad, really. Like, you get that in every situation. Like, you get people social climbing and, like, trying to climb the ladder in every situation or every type of, like, field and work and everything like that. But I feel like it's so much more drastic in this space. Yeah, so much, because like even just like someone posting you on their story or like collaborating with you in some way, or like if you suck up to someone enough and then they post you and you get more followers because of that, and then consequentially you get more money, because that's not exactly how it equates to, but you know, it does sort of kind of like end up. And it's so sad to see, again, have to really reiterate this, it's not everybody. Please don't say please don't take this as like every influencer is bad. No, not at all. It's kind of like saying every like CEO or every person in like a company is awful. Not at all. I'm just saying like a lot of people, the majority of the space is very toxic, very social climby. People just, they don't care about you. They just want to like use you, like, you know, collab with you, get you to post them, and then move on to like the next bigger thing. What if they're like, if they eventually get bigger than you, they're just like, don't give a fuck about you anymore. It's like instantly like, bye, like, you know what I mean? It's fake. Like, that's not what you do with a friend. Like, just because, let's say your friend gets a promotion at a job, doesn't mean she's then like, fuck you, bitch. Like, see you later.
I'm on 1K more than you. See you later.
Like, I earn like 5,000 more than you a year. We can't be friends anymore.
Friendship's not a thing anymore.
This
I'm
friendship-
cutting the contract. No, I get that.
Like, this friendship is over. Like, you can't afford the Birkin bag I have. So, like, you don't do that in real life. Like, it just, in a relationship, you don't just leave them because you maybe earn a little bit more than them, or it's not. That's not how things should be. It shouldn't just depend on money. Money is great, but it's not everything, man. Like, there's people's emotions, people's feelings, people getting backstabbed every day in this industry, and it's just nuts to see. And like, the amount of people I've helped and like, you know, done everything for and been there for, and like literally showed them how to do everything, and as soon as they got what they wanted out of me, they just moved on, you know, they fucked off. Or they'll collab with you, and then once they've collabed with you, it's just like, all right, like I've gotten what I needed from you. I've got like some of your followers now, I just don't need you anymore, so fuck off. You know what I mean? And it sounds,
it's like a Black Mirror episode. Like, this is what it sounds like. I'm not even kidding.
that's so true. It sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
I feel like recently, and not all rappers, but I've heard it in a couple of songs, they mention about they won't go near a girl with, for example, 100k followers plus. Is that because there's like a reputation around influencers? Like, do you feel like the fake environment is like, people are starting to notice it? Like, a lot more people want to be private. They don't want to have a public account with like hundreds of millions of followers. They want to have like closer circle. I don't know, like, do you feel like people are picking up on the fakeness?
I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that they know that they're majority of the time like clout chasing. You know what I mean? They know that like, if I get with this rapper, if I get with this like bigger YouTuber, like I'm gonna benefit from that. And there are so many people that go into relationships for just that reason. It's almost like gold diggers. Like followers, clout diggers. That's literally what it is. And it's nuts. It's actually nuts, because you see it quite often. And I feel like there's also, again, not talking about every influencer. I really have to keep saying that, just because I know there's influencers watching this that, you know, I admire and I think are great people. So it's not everybody, but a lot of people.
Yeah, and also I feel like if you watch this and you take it personally, then maybe it is about you.
If the shoe fits.
Yeah, it's true though.
If
like,
the shoe fits.
if you can relate, if you're thinking, gosh, like how dare,
how could you be talking about me? It's because you're probably doing one of these things, and you should probably check yourself and like, you know, am I being a morally correct person right now, or am I like just using people for my own benefit with like, you know, just horribly using people?
Here's another thing is, what's interesting about that is like the UK, well, they've got like Australia Love Island, don't they now, and like American, but the UK one, I don't know what it's like in American because I didn't watch the America Love Island, but you know, it's known that people go on Love Island. I don't know if they originally went on Love Island to be influencers, because I think they were the beginning of influencers, weren't they? Like, that
like
kind
the
of
UK one was.
Yeah. And like now, if you go on Love Island, everyone's aware you're purely going on there for brand deals, for like club appearances, for like things like that. And like, that's another thing of, I don't know, it just seems like fake, because then you watch them promoting fake products. Like, it's all just money. Like, I don't know, I feel like they're not doing it because they actually want to. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say. There is a lot of that as well. Like, I feel like that kind of takes us back to the point we mentioned before as well, with like how a lot of people are in it just for the money grab, and they just see it as like a opportunity to have attention and to get money. So a lot of people go on Love Island for business reasons. Like, no one really goes on there to find love.
I also think
like,
is cool. that you're going on there for business
Yeah,
reasons.
like there's
I
nothing
think
wrong
that's
with
cool.
that. Yeah, you do you. If you want to like you know, build the business from going on a reality TV show, props to you. Like there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine, but don't lie about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
when
don't
they're
lie about
I'm
it.
actually here for love.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like-
okay.
That's the only issue I have with these things. It's like, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you date someone for their money. I don't care if you date someone for like clout. I don't care if you go on a reality TV show for a business and for money as well. Just be real about it, bro. Like, I am so sick and tired of seeing just fake shit everywhere. Like, why is no one just real and raw anymore? Why
Everyone's
can't anyone
scared.
just speak their minds and just be yourself, bro? Like, actually, it's not that hard. Like, people are, like you just said, like, people are scared and people like want everyone to like them, but not everyone is ever gonna like you. So why not just be yourself? Why not just be who you are and
Own
like
up
speak
to
your,
it.
own up to it. Like, you be just real and raw, and like if you're doing something for a specific reason, don't bullshit me, because like it's, you can see through it. Even like like even as an influencer or as an audience member or as a fan or a supporter or whatever, I think the majority of people really do see through it. It's not hard to do unless they're like freaking acting gold medal award or something. It is really easy to see through. So
Like an example, again, this is my opinion.
Yeah, go on.
So, you know, not everyone might feel the same, but Molly May and Tommy Fury were on Love Island. I think their love is real. I feel like they look genuinely happy.
Yeah.
And she said in her YouTube video, in her Q&A, I went on there for a business move and look how successful she is now. And she also found love.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's quite a nice, you know, example.
Definitely.
But then I feel like, look at some of the other ones where, and it's not just Love Island people, like I'm not just, but you know, they go into influencing, that's why I'm mentioning it, is when they promote like that Jack, you've seen that Jack Mate YouTube video?
Yeah, so let me like preface this for people to understand. So basically, Love Island is a show in the UK that people go on to like find their like a couple up with people and like find their like, you know, true one or whatever. And it's definitely watch it. It's funny. But it's the biggest show in the UK, and every single person that goes on there comes out with a massive following. That's just how it is. It's the biggest show. It gets the most views. People like now, because it's so big, people go on there just to come out with that following, and then they're instantly an influencer when they come out, if you're on there long enough. And what Lucy was just mentioning as well, there was this girl that went on there called Molly May, and she was like one of the only people that were actually honest about the fact that why she went on there, and said like, I went on it for business reasons, but she just so happened to end up finding someone that she actually really liked. Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's like the boxer's brother, and now they seem like a genuinely happy couple, and they legit look like real sort of love almost, you know. So that's a good example of someone just owning up to their shit, you know.
She
just
owns up
own
to
up
it.
Yeah,
and you can
And,
I feel like in her responses as well, this should be like featuring Molly May, but in her responses I feel like
she'll be in the thumbnail.
add her in. I feel like she does own up to it. Like that's a good example of owning up to it. And she's like, I'm sorry if I offended anyone. Like the way she words it, it's like you can tell how she actually feels. Like she's not just like, I'm actually really sorry. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't make it too deep. She just nips it in the bud and
tells you how it is.
Yeah,
which is
and
good.
she'll go about her day. Like she won't play on it.
Not on everything. Like I feel like everyone could be a bit more real and honest, but I guess also, you know, you have to at the same time look at it from slightly a business perspective. Like that's what a lot of people are in it for. So I get both sides of it, but I feel like there should be a balance between being real and raw. And I do appreciate that she actually mentioned that as well. But what you were saying before, so Lucy was basically mentioning Jackmate, the YouTuber Jackmate, and he did a video.
This was a great
He
video.
did a video to try and see which Love Islanders, so people from the show, because all they care about usually is like a money grab and promoting anything. So he made a fake product of skincare, which was actually like baby oil or something.
Like he literally just made his own labels.
Made his own like little labels and stuff. Complete fake product, doesn't like, you know, not an actual business. And saw who would promote it for, you know, a decent amount of money. And there were actually
I think
good
like
few people.
3 of them definitely did it. And then
3
one
of
of them
them.
actually kept the video up.
I know. So 3 of these influencers promoted promoted the skincare line or whatever, and you could see them in the video like, oh yeah, this is the best thing ever for my skin, like this has like transformed my skin, it doesn't clog my pores. I was like, bitch, you ain't even used it.
You haven't
like,
even read the ingredients.
Exactly.
And it was in the brand name, like the brand name was like Jackmate skincare or something. Like it was, you didn't even research the product. Like,
literally like one Google search of Jackmate would have showed you. Yeah, it would have showed you like what it is. So if a YouTuber can get these people to promote an absolute bollocks product that isn't a real business and is literally like a famous YouTuber, if you just type it into Google, imagine the other stuff that these people are promoting, all the teas, all the fat loss stuff, all the supplements, all like the absolute bullshit scammy products that will either like be serious, like harmful to your health, waste your money, or maybe even get you killed. I mean, that's not the best way to go out of this world, so I wouldn't recommend it. Like, even if you are, either have your like trusted influencers that you know you've followed them for ages, you know that they don't promote bullshit, you know that they're real, they're honest, they're raw. Obviously, like, you can trust those people, but at the same time, like, just don't fall for the scams. Like, research what you're buying, look into it, do your own research. Just because like a big celebrity or influencer or someone that you've just seen around on the media is promoting something does not mean that there's any credibility behind that product at all.
have you ever promoted something that you didn't actually believe in?
That I didn't believe in?
Yeah.
Lucy with the fire questions.
We're getting real.
Have I ever promoted something that I didn't believe in? I'm genuinely trying to think, because all of the the promos that I've done have been long-term sponsors. So for example, I worked with Gymshark back in the day. I worked with them for like a year and a half, 2 years. At the time, I genuinely loved their sportswear. Now, when I compare it to Alphalete, not so much. Yeah. Sorry, Gymshark, love, like, still a fan of the brand and stuff. Like, they're doing amazing things, but quality-wise, Alphalete's...
Yeah, you've got your preferences.
Yeah, I have my preferences. I also know Lewis Morgan, the owner, lovely, lovely, lovely guy. Ben also, lovely guy, not a bad word to say about them. Great company, but, you know, just in terms of quality right now, I do prefer Alphalete, which is why I'm with them. And then I've obviously worked with Fit Jeans, Women's Best. The only thing I would say is that, like, I loved Women's Best when I was promoting them. I genuinely loved their products, but just maybe in the last 6 months of being with them, because I had to wait for my contract to be up, I wasn't really taking supplements as much. You know what I mean? Like, I just sort of, not that there's anything bad with the products whatsoever, but I just, like, personally didn't really feel like taking them. I didn't really need whey protein.
Didn't see a difference, maybe?
Not that I didn't see a difference, because supplements don't like make you see a difference. They just sort of help you get your intake in. So for example, if you need more protein in the day,
I'm with you.
Yeah, having like a protein shake will just help you get to that goal of protein. But it doesn't do anything magic. Like, supplements aren't magic, by the way, if you didn't know. But I just found myself not really using them as much, because I was just like, I had more time to eat better and stuff like that. I was getting as enough protein that I needed from my diet. So I just found myself like not using it as much as I used to, but I still had to finish my contract because I had an obligation to. I couldn't just leave. So that would probably be the only time where I wasn't like genuinely using it every single day
and like passionate about it.
Like passionate about supplements in general, which is why since I've left them, I didn't take on another supplement company, because I just don't use it enough. Like, I feel like it's fake to promote something that I'm not using.
You're not even using yourself. I respect that. I think that's good. Yeah.
Like, if an energy drink company or a pre-workout company wanted to sponsor me, all for it.
Hit me up.
All for it. But like, just supplements in general, in terms of like, you know, protein shakes, and just at the current moment, I'm not saying in the future maybe I'll get more into it. At the moment, I'm just not using them as much.
Like that though. I like that you're just like honest with what you're actually enjoying too.
Yeah.
Like, I like that.
You've got to be, I think, because otherwise it's just fake marketing, and it's just lying.
Do you then turn down a lot of deals?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what people don't see, because, you know, they say like, oh yeah, you are sponsored by this person, sponsored by this person, like, I bet you're making so much money, blah blah blah. But like, in actual fact, like, the biggest deals I've ever had, where it's like 15,000 for a deal, 20,000 for a deal, I've turned down because they were bullshit products. And it's like, I can either be 20 grand richer, which I'm sure a lot of people would take, and I can understand why. But at the same time, I feel like I've built up such a loyal following and such a loyal audience, and like so much trust between the people that follow me, that like morally, I think I would just feel sick to my stomach if I took a deal like that and like promoted something that was bullshit and I knew people would be wasting their money on just so I can get a quick cash grab.
And I feel like people who like genuinely do like show interest in you and like have been loyal followers could read then like I just feel like that, like that's relating back to the Love Island contestants, like often, not always, like they just have this reputation of like what they promote is bullshit. Like charcoal toothpaste, like you know, like everyone did fucking charcoal toothpaste. We get it.
We get it.
You have veneers, like
you literally have veneers.
I don't think that charcoal toothpaste did much for you.
Like, oh yeah, like these teeth whitening, like shut the fuck up. You're going to a dentist, they're doing it professionally, like come on. No, but that's very true. And the thing that happens with people that come off like these reality TV shows is that like I've personally heard from behind the scenes, I know a few people in the industry, they get instantly connected with managers. I don't know if all this information is 100% true, so don't take every single word of this. Like,
this is what you've heard.
This is what I've heard, exactly. I'm not saying that this is how it exactly happens, but from what people have told me, they get like instantly connected with managers, and then the managers, their sole goal is to milk the shit out of these influencers. Oh hell yeah. Because if you think about it, right, the actual like time span for a lot of the Love Island influencers is short-lived, because as soon as the next show comes around, they're sort of exactly fresh meat, they're sort of pushed to the background. Their careers aren't as long as some more sustainable long-term influencers that have been around longer. So managers know this, and this isn't for every influencers from Love Island, because you get people, the odd person like Molly May, which is very smart about the way they do things. They make sure that they're, you know, consistent with their content.
And she was already an influencer before she went in, so like
had experience.
She already had a decent following, and you know, like bang, like it was perfect timing as well.
Exactly. And her having that experience is what made her, because without that experience she would have gone down the same route as all of the other Love Island people. Bad management, just taking the absolute piss, like just deal after deal after deal, and not being able to say no to them, or being able to but just not wanting to, because imagine these people haven't seen that amount of money ever before. You know what I mean? Like they, let's say they're
this is like their big break.
It's like a huge break. They're like, oh my god, like when they think about it, if you go from like you know, someone that doesn't do influencing to suddenly having 1 million followers, you just missed like, I don't know, 2-3 years of hard work, grafting, learning
mistakes.
Exactly. Like you missed that whole build up to where you actually connect with your followers. You know, like for me, for example, like I've had so many chats with like the people that follow me, sending voice notes back and forth, like actually being like involved with the people that support me, and they've not had that. So they've left, they've gone in maybe 500 followers, just all their friends, come out with 1 million, and then they're presented these deals. Hey, you can get £10,000 right now if you post this story of this teeth whitening thing. And in like someone that's never done influencing before, in their heads are like,
that's 5 minutes work.
Like I can make 10 grand in 5 minutes. What? You know what I mean? It then falls on them, and they're like, oh my god, like they say yes, because if you go from working a 9-to-5 job to then being able to get paid 10 grand in 5 minutes,
that's your few months wages. Like
exactly. And like I'm not, that's why I'm not like shaming them. They're not bad people, because if you really think about it, let's say you don't do influencing, would you take that deal? You know what I mean? If you also have no connection with the people following you, you literally went on a show, when you came back they were there.
And I feel like that's very like thinking short term, which is probably obviously what the market or the agency are projecting onto them as well, because the agency's probably aware, like you know, the next season's out in a year, like chop, let's get the money out of you quick. Do you know what I mean? Like like they're lining up.
Literally though, it's like That is actually what it is, because these managements aren't stupid. Like they're not. They've been through this before. Like they, have been around for years. Like they have like actual business systems set up in place to make sure that they make the most money. Like that is their goal at the end of the day. Like they know that by next year, when next Love Island comes around, and they're, like you said before, fresh meat and fresh people to milk like a little cow.
That's a great example, though.
It is.
We just need a picture of a Love Islander being milked, like on the thumbnail. That would be brilliant.
Oh my God, that's actually amazing. For their little heads on like a cow. Each Love Island's like a tit. Oh my God.
That would be brilliant.
This is so savage, man. Guys, if you're a Love Island, please don't hate me, okay? I'm just spitting facts.
Yeah, and just to get it clear, like this isn't a hate, it's just like a general discussion that I feel like a lot of viewers would ask the same questions,
Yeah, no, this isn't like actual hate towards anyone off Love Island. I just want to show you guys what it's really like behind the scenes, just so the audience can actually understand it more. And I feel like it's important to just be transparent, and every single thing that we're talking about in this podcast is 100% true, like 100% honest. Like we're just being real and raw with you guys, because I'm just tired of the bullshit. Like I'm so fucking sick and tired of the Photoshop and bullshit. Like I'm just sick of it. And like I think I've been wanting to do this for a while now, and I just want to talk raw and real and honest with you guys. And I'm not trying to shame anybody. This is just to give you a sense of what it's like, and just so you guys understand the industry a bit more, because I feel like no one talks about this. Like, I've never seen anybody really go in depth and really explain all this kind of stuff and how it works, and like all of this, like the details and the back behind the scenes. So that's why we're talking about it.
And like, do you, obviously, because you won't you're not one of those influencers, and like firsthand knowing you, who does surround themselves with these like fake people, fake brands, like this whole fake culture. How do you find it then? Like, do you find it lonely? Like if you were to go to an event and there's a group of these, I don't want to make them out to be like a cult, but like there's like this group where like they all click and like they're part of the fakeness, and like they're all chasing the same thing, and because you're on a slightly different path, do you feel lonely?
Like yes and no at times, for sure. Yes and no. Like the majority of my friends aren't influencers, and thank God. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like I don't care if you have numbers or you don't have numbers. I don't give a shit. Like if you're a good person, you're a good person. That's it. That's all I look for in a friend. Like I'm not trying to benefit from them. Obviously, there are ways that you can both benefit from each other. Like, I can help you out with something, you can help me out with something. Like, we can, if you're going through some stuff in your life, and if you've got some problems that you want to talk to someone, I'm here. Like, I'm all ears. Like, I help them, you help, sort of, back and forth. But I honestly don't really miss not being in that clique, because I have not been in it, but I've tried to be in it, or I've wanted to be in it, but then I realized along the way, like, I don't fucking want to be in this clique. Like, I have been there, I've had those friends, and I just realized, like, it's not worth it. Like, I feel way better now with my circle and my group of friends that I have now than, like, making an effort or having been friends with those people, and just, it sucks the life out of you, man. Like, it really does.
So, like, essentially, did you feel more lonely in that situation than you do now?
Yeah, 100%. But just going back really quickly to, because there was a few points I wanted to touch on with, like, the management side of things and the Love Island situation.
Bring it back.
Need a little chat. Bring it back. That's hilarious. But yeah, so these managements will, again, I know this is like a bit of a topic, but just to go back really quickly, those managements will try and milk those influencers for, like, as soon as they can and as quickly as they can. So managements will actually, like, force deals down your throat. I've had it happen to me, and I know people that have been in the position, especially like reality TV stars and like Love Island specifically, and the managers will literally shove deals down their throat constantly and make them feel bad if they don't want to take it. There are some managements out there which should not be legal. I like it's a lot of it is blackmail almost. Not all managements. Again, everything I'm talking about is not related to everyone and everything, just the situations that I've seen personally, my experiences, and there are companies like that and there are people like that. Doesn't mean it's everyone.
When you actually say that there's like you've firsthand experienced it, what did you experience when they were forcing it down your throat and then they made you feel bad? Like, what were like the techniques or the tactics that they'd use?
Yeah, well, I was with a management, again, won't mention any names here because I don't want a lawsuit, you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to keep, the lawsuits and the government out of this. Yeah. But I have had managements before where they took me on and they wanted 20% of absolutely everything I earned. So even things that they didn't bring to me, like they wanted 20% of my brand Belcia, they wanted 20% of my workout guys, they wanted 20% of my YouTube AdSense revenue, like 20% of everything I earned, everything that they had nothing to do with. Like, they didn't help me get there. They didn't build those things for me. They have no right to take that money. And in the contracts, they're really sneaky about it sometimes because it'll be like the fine print or like it'll be worded in a way that you need a lawyer to look over. And yeah, and that's why I initially signed with them. They were the first sort of management team that I signed with because I was like, oh wow, yeah, management, like this is great. Like everyone that's somebody has a management, and like this is how I'm gonna like get further in my career. This is how they're gonna like help me to get these deals, and they have the connections. Like, but you being that naive was a massive learning lesson because I was screwed over so much before. Now like I can finally say I'm at a place where like I don't fall in those traps anymore because I've learned, thankfully, when I was a lot smaller and didn't like earn what I do now and stuff, so it wasn't like as big of a hit as it would be if I fell into that trap now. But yeah, they'll put stuff in the contracts which, like, a lawyer is expensive, okay? And when you're on 100K and you're not exactly earning, like, you can't really, depending on how much you're earning, you can't really afford like your own place. You can't really like, it's not massive money.
Also, I feel like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like steady income. It's not like a salary. Like a company is not, like an office job, for example. You get paid the last day of every month or something like that, and you'll get this amount. It's not like that, is it? Like, you make your work. Yeah.
If you get seriously ill, no one cares. You don't get deals. That's it. Like,
you're not covered for like sick days, holidays.
It's all up to you to do that. So obviously, I think it was on like 80 something K, 80, 90K. I don't know. I wasn't earning that much money because I didn't even know you could earn money from social media, to be honest.
80, 90Ks in followers.
Followers,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
followers.
We're on 80, 90K.
No, I mean followers, not like salary or anything. Yeah. So at that point, I was like, I wanted to sign with the management, but I couldn't afford a lawyer to look over it. A lawyer to look over a contract, they sometimes charge like £500 to $2,000, depending on the lawyer. It's expensive. And I couldn't afford it. So I, tried to read everything. I tried to Google certain words I didn't understand. And there was clauses in there that I didn't fully comprehend and that are worded in a way that are very hard to comprehend on purpose by these companies.
Would you mind explaining what a clause is?
A clause... I don't even explain what a clause is. Like, basically terms in the, conditions and terms in a contract. Clause as well, like there could be like a leaving clause. Like, so you'll have a clause where you can leave within 3 months or something if you give them 3 months notice. I don't know if that's the exact definition for a clause, so don't batter me in the comments, but I'm
educate us in the comments.
Educate us in the comments if I'm wrong, okay? I'll put my hands if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's like what the word clause means. So they'll have these like conditions and things in the contract which are really hard to comprehend, especially if you don't have a lawyer at hand, and that screw you the hell over. So like, for example, in this specific contract that I signed, I think, back then 3-4 years ago, there was that 20% of everything clause where they took would take 20% of everything I earned. And in my head, it was written in a way that it was like 20% of the deals. And the deals, I thought, the deals that they get me, not everything I've
So
built
you were
for
thinking,
myself.
fair enough, like 20%, yeah.
And even when you like, when they speak to you about the contract, they're pressing you to sign it. They're like, oh, you got to get it signed soon. You got to get it signed so that you have less time. And
Really think about it.
exactly. And that's not that's not by mistake. Like, they know that you're a small influencer. They know you haven't been around for long. They know that you don't have as much experience. You don't have a team behind you. That they prey on the people that are coming up. They really do. They know that you don't have like someone to guide you and someone to tell you like, no, don't fucking sign this. This is a terrible deal. So yeah, they'll press you to sign it. They'll like, try and be like, this is urgent. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And they'll pressure you into doing it. So I signed it. I was like, oh shit, like if I don't sign it, I'm going to lose this deal. I can't do that. It's going to be amazing. Like, they promise you so much. They go through like a whole list of things like, we're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. We're going to like make sure you're this big. We're going to make sure that you're like the next like, this like influencer or whatever, like someone that's big at the time. And they'll make all these false promises to you, but none of those promises are in the contract. Look at the contract. Yeah. If you're an influencer, if you're doing anything at all, look at the damn contract.
Yeah. Look, like at the end of the day, I should be not employing you, but like we both need to benefit from this. Like, and it sounds like in those contracts, they're the only one that's benefiting.
Pretty much. Yeah. It's again, not all managements, but a lot of them like are a big money grab, like, and it's stuff that you could do yourself, or you could actually like, get your own team, like hire your own little group of people that you trust, and like
your own mini Lucy.
Yeah, your own, hire Lucy. Not my Lucy, she's mine. But get your own little team, and then you can trust those people because they're not just trying to like money grab from you. It's like you're building your own team rather than other people. Or you can make a deal with like your best friend or something, be like, hey, help me out with this and I'll give you a percentage of what they give me. Again, not all managements are bad, so there are some managements out there that are really good and that will get you far and that will get you great deals. But it's just, don't just sign to management just because you think it's like glamorized or a good idea, or the fake promises that they make you, because I guarantee you, if those specific promises aren't in the contract, they ain't getting fulfilled. Okay, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, my word of advice is be careful, be really careful. Know what you're signing, because that was a big mistake of mine. That company that I signed with still have all my money from the deals they got me. They didn't pay me once. I know, it's crazy. Exactly.
And was there nothing you could do about that in that situation?
There's nothing I could do about it because they did all of the things like talks and stuff through phone. They didn't text it, they didn't email it, all through phone. Like, honestly, scumbags. Like,
yeah, that's the thing, you need things in writing.
You need things in writing.
But when you're
Emails.
young, you're new, you're not gonna think, like, I don't know, you just
naivety.
Don't think,
It's naivety.
And you want to see the best in people, but unfortunately.
I sort of learned to view the world very differently after I started, because of how many times I've been screwed the hell over in the industry. And I've never really spoken about it till now, which is why this podcast, this whole episode means a lot to me. But yeah, don't be naive. I know it's easy, especially when you're coming into it. Everything looks so glamorized and like so flashy, and you're like, oh my God, like I can't believe like this management company want to work with me. Like, it's just, don't get swept away. Even companies, like if a big company, let's say, I'm not going to mention any names, but let's say a really big, known, famous company that everyone looks up to wants to work with you. And they're like, oh yeah, but we're not going to pay you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're using you, and they, just because they are a big company, just because they are a big name, doesn't mean that they're not going to take advantage of you and pay you either way less than you deserve, or just not pay you at all.
Oh wow, that's actually interesting you say that, because my friend, she's not an influencer, like she's got her own clothing brand. She has like 5k followers. So she's not like influencer, but she's not like private and like selective with who follows her. And a clothing brand, a fast fashion brand, there's plenty in Manchester. Actually sent her a top, and they were like, we want to collab with you, and they sent her some tops to like post, and she got nothing out of it apart from those tops. Like, I don't know, I just feel like
Well, I guess it depends. Like, did they send them as PR or did they send him like and give her like strict things to follow? You know what I mean?
Like you have to post it this time.
Really?
Isn't that a thing? Like, you might want to cut this out if this doesn't sound good. But just with you as well, it's like a thing where, like, they would so they sent her a top, and you have to post it at this time, and obviously you get the top. Mm-hmm. But like, you just promote it for us. But like, what would that? Like, what is that?
I mean, that's not like too bad if she's agreeing to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also, like, you know, if she like, let's say has just speaking purely business wise, if she has 5k, like usually like they won't pay because of like, you know, size and engagement and that kind of thing. So usually like under 15k, I would say, like companies don't really tend to pay unless your engagement is like through the fucking roof. But usually it's more like PR and stuff. I'd say under like 10k probably, because some you can still even get like, you know, £50 here and stuff with 15. But that's not too bad, I would say, as long as she agreed to it and they, you know, were exchanging like a gifted item for a certain post. But it's more when like, let's say someone is a little bigger, like let's say they have 50-60k, companies, like obviously it's a business thing, so companies aren't exactly going to go to you like, hey, we're going to pay you to do this. They're going to try and see if they can get it for free first, and then if the person like then goes back like, no, I want 20 pounds or whatever you want for it, then they usually will pay. It's more about knowing how to ask, knowing how to like have the balls to know what you're worth and ask for what you're worth, and not, if you don't want to do something, don't do it, you know. That's as simple as that. But yeah, it's just with the whole Love Island thing, I do feel like it's sad to see, because it is a very short-term situation, and they'll milk them, they'll get the most out of them, and after they do that, their followers don't trust them anymore. You don't look at their stuff anymore. Like anything that's actually sponsored after that first year, people are just gonna be like, oh, this is bullshit.
Do you know what as well? I feel like mentally for people who do go on Love Island, and if that's their situation, that must be like, it must destroy you. Yeah. For you to go from like 100% to like 40%. Everyone wants to know what you're doing, everyone's commenting, and then it just slowly drizzles out. Like you feel like a nobody. Like you, like your confidence must be like absolutely crushed. Because
in their heads, like they don't know what's happening. Like they don't know why that's happening, because their management didn't explain that to them. Like, do you really think the management that are benefiting from them doing the ads are really going to be like, hey, by the way, you shouldn't do this many ads because your followers are going to lose trust in you and you won't be able to actually be an influencer in the long run? They're not, like, because they know for a fact that, like, most managements anyway, they know for a fact that like when the next Love Island people come around, they'll have like more cash cows, so they don't care about your long-term business plan. They just care about how much money can I make from this person in the quickest amount of time. And what those people don't understand is that ruins your long-term career as an influencer. It ruins people's trust in you. It ruins just like your credibility, your engagement flunks, because it's just like teeth whitening, detox teas, and people are getting smarter and smarter and smarter. I think the audience members are getting smarter. Thank God. Thank goodness.
I actually think that too. They are getting a lot smarter.
And it's great. It's awesome that they are. So people aren't falling for these traps as much, and they are just ruining their careers. Like, you have the biggest opportunity of a lifetime if you go from 0 to 100 by going on a show like Love Island. Yeah. And you've really just got to, I know it's hard because they don't have experience in it, but really just do your research. Like, just think about it in a business perspective. Look at things in the long run and not just like short-term profit, because anyone that like just does a quick cash grab or short-term like income never actually like has that for the rest of their lives. Look at people that win the lottery, right? Wow. So many people that win the lottery, like within a few years, all gone. Like gone.
Bought a house, bought a car, holidays.
Bought like loads of like holidays, like designer bags.
Wow.
Like, they're like, proper, like they care more about showing people like, look, I have money, rather than like setting yourself up for life, bro. Like, you invest your money, like buy into things that are actually gonna like be with you in the long run. Like, grow your business, make investments, make the right choices. Don't just waste all your money on flashy shit, which is what those influence people, like the Love Island people do,
That is actually a thing with a lot of even like small influencers, you know, like the 20k ones, like, you know, like just the still pretty big, but like, you know, like the upcoming ones, I feel like they feel like, obviously I'm not first-hand experience in this, but from looking at their feed and stuff, I feel like they feel pressure to have designer.
Yeah.
I feel like they save all their money and then they just blow it on designer. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Because like you're still living at home, you know, you still like everything looks normal, but then like you're just dripping in designer. It doesn't match, like, do you know what I mean? Head to toe Louis Vuitton, but like, still living with your parents, which is fine. Like that's fine if that's your choice.
Yeah.
But I just feel like people's priorities are so wrong now because of social media, because of some influencers, like because they're shoving that in their followers' face, and then there's like followers like me, for example, who then feels like they have to cop, like they're being influenced. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And it puts pressure on you to then like, oh my god, like this girl, like, you know, she's so rich, she's only 22, like, oh my god, like what am I doing with my life? Like I don't have all this designer, I don't have all this stuff. It's like, if you really look at it, the people that are the richest in the world don't do that. Look at Bill Gates, for Christ's sake. Look at, you know, what's that actor called as well from like God, I forget his name. Oh, I forget his name. But basically what I'm saying is like Bill Gates, like these massive billionaires and millionaires, like really, really, really famous actors, like massive Jim Carrey as well.
Yeah, they're not dripping in a Louis Vuitton blazer.
They like, do you think they really give a shit about like wearing designer everywhere they go? Yeah. No, man. The richest people, you wouldn't actually like.
They invest their money to make
more money.
Like, you know.
And once you're at a place where like you're financially set for the rest of your life, or you're financially set for like, you know,
you've got that many assets and like that much money in
you're
different
stable
places. Yeah.
And you know that like, you know, you've got different revenue streams, and you've got money coming in every month no matter what. You've got like let's say even just one property that you rent out, just one, and that's already like, I don't know, £800, £600 a month that you know you're always gonna get. And then at that point, when you've like stabilized your actual life, then sure, like do whatever the fuck you want. Buy a designer bag.
When you're on
buy
top,
designer
when
shoes.
you haven't got to worry about them things. That's different. Like Kylie Jenner, for example.
Oh yeah, of course.
So like you know,
Kylie,
I get the Birkins.
Like Kylie, like she has so much money. Like whatever, buy literally whatever you want, and like you're gonna be fine for the rest of your life. But when you do see people on like quick fame or win the lottery, or just influencers that just got to like, let's say 100k, and they're spending every dime on just trying to impress other people. Look at me. It's just honestly so stupid. But okay, so at the same time, I'm not here to say like, oh, I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money. Of course not. Exactly. Your money.
If you want to spend your money on designer,
do
which
whatever.
I do sometimes, you probably do sometimes.
Yeah,
everyone does it.
Like if you're earning money and your biggest like goal is to own that bag or own those shoes, if your biggest goal is to, you know, buy that car, whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. Honestly, I like, who are we to sit here and be like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that? Do whatever you want. This is just like our perspective, or like my perspective as well. Like I just feel like they think that it's never gonna end, that money's always gonna keep coming in, and it's not. You're young once. You're young once.
Yeah, and I feel like on that note, like what I'm trying to say is the pressure, the pressure that influencers put on other people who potentially don't have all them brand deals coming in. Like they work a 9 till 5 days a week. They feel like to be cool, like to look good, they have to have what those influencers have. Like sometimes, like the point I'm getting at is, and again, not all, the influence that they're putting on their followers is negative and toxic. Like it's not like, but then again, like you don't want to I'm not saying to an influencer like you can't buy that designer because then your followers are gonna, but I feel like the pressure is so real. There's so much pressure now.
And there's too much focus placed on it. Like we have to just like, you know, disclaimer, we are not trying to ridicule anyone that buys a designer bag or spends their money however the fuck you want to spend your money. I don't give a shit how you spend your money. This is just like, you know, a wake-up call to the people that maybe think that this is going to last forever when it doesn't. And to think like, you don't work a 9 to 5 where you know you have a retirement plan. You know that they're like, you know, you have a dental plan, you have a retirement plan, like they're going to look after you when you're older. If you're self-employed, in not just influencer, but whatever the hell you do, that is your job to figure out. That's your job to save. It's your job to invest. No one's going to like look after you when you're 50 years old. You're not in the system, exactly. It's your job to set up that long-term plan. And spending money is great, but there's a balance. There's a way to do it where you're not just spending everything you have in one go, burning out. Maybe like your influencer or like your business isn't doing as well, or your page is just flunking, and you're suddenly like, oh my god, like all this money, like I'm not earning as much anymore, and I didn't save a fucking shit, like nothing of it, like I'm screwed, like what do I do? And then they have to like, you know, I don't know, do whatever to actually sustain themselves later on. So I think summarizing it, it's just this isn't us telling you what to do. It's just, I feel like I see it a lot in the industry, and I see a lot of ignorance with it. And, you know, sometimes you're not taught this. Sometimes you have a family that maybe that's the habits of like the family you come from. So this is not hate on anybody. It's just trying to educate and trying to help. Like if you have like if you're self-employed, you have a business and you're doing really well right now, just make sure you know that it might last forever, but it also might not. And you might need to prepare for your future, and you might need to make sure that you're stable, especially if you start having kids, if you start having rent to pay, if you don't have anything to fall back on. Just be smart with your money. And it's not always just about trying to impress other people, you know?
Just to sum that up, really, I feel like there's just a lot of influencers that do just care about what they look like and what people think of them, and that will just drip down to their followers, and then it's like the pattern just repeats and then repeats. Everyone want to get pictures everywhere. Make sure you get my bag in it, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just, everyone's flashing their watches on their stories. Like, it's just such a toxic culture at the moment.
That's
like,
so true. See, like, playing devil's advocate, because I feel like there's always, no matter what topic you're talking about, no matter how right we think we are, or no matter how right they think that, whoever the hell, there's always two sides to every story. And there's always, I feel like the best way to approach any subject and any topic is to look at both sides and be empathetic to why someone does stuff and why they don't, and just really try and understand the other person's perspective. Because if you approach anything with like a set mentality, like, oh yeah, this is right, everyone else is wrong, like, you're a fucked up person. Like, sorry, but you are like not very open-minded. So you have to sort of try and look at things from both ends of the spectrum. Everyone's life is different. Everyone grew up different. People have different habits from their family or wherever it may be.
Or you may that's just how you want to live your life. Yeah, which is genuinely fine.
That's that's completely fine. Like, that is literally fine. Just know what you're getting yourself into. Know that everything you choose to do or choose not to do does have consequences in the long run. That's more what we're trying to portray, not telling someone what to do. Be aware of your decisions, and be okay with what those decisions will lead to, pretty much. Like, I do also see the other side of it, where they have a big following and there's a lot of pressure on them to look nice all the time, to look good all the time. For example, there's this thing that happened recently with Jaclyn Hill. I don't know if you know Jaclyn Hill. Big makeup YouTuber, basically. Big makeup YouTuber. And she recently made a video for like Ulta, like this big company, and they posted it on their social media. And she looks very different from when she first started like Instagram, YouTube and stuff. Like, she gained some weight, which is whatever, completely fine. But the amount of hate on that post, and the amount of just like disgusting comments, like, and I was reading through them, I was like, this is not okay. Like, when did this become okay to shit on someone so much because of something that like has nothing to do with you? If she wants to gain weight, let her fucking gain weight. What? So what?
As well, you know? What comes to mind with that is Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah.
Wow. Because the amount of hate for how she looks, not even who she is. I don't think I've ever seen a bad comment on who she is. I think I only see bad comments on what she looks like.
Yeah, and like that's a really good point to bring up, because at the same time, because I'm really trying to like balance this topic out, where we're not just one-sided, like, oh yeah, how dare you like want to look nice, you know what I mean? I want to really want to balance out and be fair to everybody, and that's a really great point, because at the same time as everyone shits on her and hates on her for like, how could you Photoshop your photos,
How have you
like
got your bum
how,
like that?
like how could you be so fake with your followers, how could you Photoshop your face, blah 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 blah. You also have to look at her side of things, and I'm not saying that what she's doing is right. I personally don't agree with it, but at the same time, she's, you know, since the start of the whole show, like she's been deemed as like the ugly sister, like, oh, you know, like everyone's so pretty and she's like the ugly one, like
compared to all of her family.
Her mum must have like cheated, like, or been with someone else, because she doesn't look like any of her sisters, like she's like the ugly duckling. I'm just purely repeating what other people have,
What she said.
yeah, what she's mentioned. For years and years and years and years and years of getting hundreds and thousands of messages like that from people, from comments, from just like, imagine that, like every day you wake up and you're called the ugly sister, like the insecurities that must build in her, and like the self-esteem issues, the just downright like depressive episodes that must like make someone feel. It's almost understandable why she would choose to do that, and why she wants to, you know, appear more like her sisters.
To be honest, I'd be the exact same.
Exactly.
And which this is like a little bit deep on like her story, but obviously, you know, her last marriage and then her current situation with Tristan, whatever's going on there, like it hasn't been the best experiences with like affairs. So that would also crush you. Like, not only are you being compared to your family, but then straight random girls as well, people in your comments, like it's coming in from all angles. Like, no wonder she, you know, wants to edit herself.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, whether it's, so just to generalize it a bit, because I'm not sure if everybody, like everyone following will sort of know the individual people, sort of generalize it and relate it back to like the general audience. I do think that no matter who you are, no matter like where you come from, what family you're in, when you have that many followers and you have that many opinions, and you've been through a shit time as well with whatever divorce or life situations that you have, and you're just constantly deemed to be the ugly, like the ugly duckling, the ugly sibling, which personally I don't think she is, but anyway, besides the point, like you have to sort of look at it from her side as well. Like, she must feel so shit, and she must like Photoshop to try and like make herself feel better, or make herself like, you know, compared to her sisters. And like, that's an insecurity thing. Like, you have no idea what the person's going through. So I'm not saying, literally, again, back to that, no subject is completely one-sided. There are two sides to every story, whether you're bullied in school by someone, whether someone photoshops, whether someone does anything aside from like, you know, someone committing murder or something. Like, everything has a reason, a trauma, something that's happened to them.
There's a reason that's gone down.
A way that they've been brought up, something that influences someone to make that kind of decision. So literally every single topic has both sides, except for the really severe things that people just shouldn't do, you know.
I've got like a question as well, is I feel like I say that before every question. I've got another question. But like, do you think it's like a cycle? Because this is my personal opinion on it. So influencers and normal girls may get compared to influencers. So for example, Khloe getting compared to Kim, me getting compared to like a random influencer. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like on beauty, it's purely on beauty standards. So it might be like, oh my god, like she's got such a good bum, like, and then it makes you feel like you need to go get your bum done, for example. I go get my bum done, and then there's always going to be people criticizing me getting my bum. It's like a cycle, and then you get more done, and then you get not just work, but like editing pictures. Like, you're literally allowing these people to clone you into the perfect thing, and it's still not good enough. It's my perspective on it, like it's just such a toxic.
It's super toxic
for the influencers too.
Yeah,
like that's
for
what I'm
everyone,
saying. For both sides, it's toxic.
Very, very, very toxic for both sides. 100% agree with you. But it is a topic that can be discussed for hours and hours and hours because there is no end to it. There's no like 100% correct and 100% wrong. Even if you look at the LA scene, a lot of people say like everyone looks the same in LA because it's such a standard over there. Like it's such a beauty standard to have blonde hair, big lips, big boobs, big bum. Like it's just tiny waist. Like it's such a standard and a very, not just influencer wise, but very deep societal rooted issue. This is getting deep, guys. But like,
Like when you think of like, I don't know, like just blonde girls, I think of America. Like Playboy bunnies, you know, like things like that. Like they were always blonde.
So it's less of a, it's not a very easy to talk about topic because again, it's all about societal norm, societal pressure and changes and what is like deemed to be beautiful, deemed to be acceptable. That's a whole nother topic on itself that we could maybe do another podcast about because that would be actually a really good one. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Also, please comment down below what you think of this one so far because we would love to hear your opinions. But just kind of like going back a little bit to more of like the influencer space, just because that is what this video is like sort of around. So we don't go too off track.
Yeah, and it's easy to go off topic with these things.
There's just so much to talk about. Like there's so many different routes
rabbit holes.
So many, and we should definitely save them for like the next one and talk more about those things. We have like one little last topic to touch on in the influencer sort of world, and then we're going to be answering your guys' questions that you sent me on Instagram because I asked like juicy questions about like the influencer world, and I got a bunch, and all answers as well are going to be 100% real, 100% honest, raw, except for like the legal things that like I'd actually get in trouble for that I can't mention for I don't want to be sued.
Except go to court.
Exactly. Except for those, I'm just going to be 100% transparent here. But one last little thing that we wanted to touch on as well was I've really noticed as well in like the influencer world that it's not very collaborative. I feel like if you compare it to like America, for example, everyone in America, they all join together. That's why they are the biggest in the world, is because they join together, they collaborate, they help each other out. They, even if they are like slightly using each other in a way, but it's still like a joint effort. Like
they're both in it for the same thing.
Exactly. They're both agreeing like we should collaborate. And they do it in like not trying to like, oh, I'm going to be your fake friend and then get your followers.
Yeah, this will be really
like,
good for both of us because,
it's sort of like more of like a business deal. Like, hey, let's do business together, you know? And in the UK, you don't get that very often. You really, really don't. You get it every so often, but it's not. I feel like people over here, not everybody, but a lot of them are a lot more almost like greedy with their followers. I'm sure they get that in America too. I'm sure, but you just see a lot more collaborations over there. So I may be wrong. It might be the exact same over there.
That would be interesting to know actually.
Yeah.
If it is the same over there.
Get an American on.
Let us know.
Any Americans want to come to the UK for a podcast, let me know. But yeah, so you don't really get that much over here. Like people, I find, or at least purely my experiences, might be different for other people. Everything I'm saying is just my own experience because I can't talk for anyone else. But I find that people are very much not willing to help anyone out, even if that means that they don't benefit themselves, even if it means that they don't grow more themselves because of you. They really, really, really don't want to help anyone out. It's a very like selfish industry over here. I definitely have my friends that I very much collaborate with, you know, like Gabby, Grace, like Mo, like there's a bunch of people, the list goes on. Annie, love you guys. Like so many people that I adore, love, are my actual friends and would, you know, have collabed with before and would do 100% do it again. But there's a lot more of like, that's just like the surface level of like that's the iceberg.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
That's the tip of the iceberg.
That's the ice tip.
The ice tip.
The ice nip.
The ice nip. The cow nips. Anyway. But a lot of them, I guess, just are more willing to be selfish and greedy and not grow themselves than have you grow with them, which is is really sad to me, because it's like, how could only looking out for yourself, like, that doesn't help anybody, that doesn't help you, that stunts your growth as well. And it's quite sad to me that we live in a society, in like a place where, or just a world even, where people would rather not succeed if that means you succeed with them. It's crazy.
Like,
it's
they're
insane.
so protective over what they have, like their assets. They don't want to share it. Like,
not at all. And that's quite a sad thing, because you will just get like people just trying to use you. So for example, I went to it's a little bit of tea, but I went to a TikTok event, like a TikTok party, back in February of last year.
what was that like, by the way?
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty nice. Like, it was before COVID hit, before like the whole lockdown and everything, and there were a lot of people there. All the Love Island people, like Tana Mongeau or whatever was there as well. Like, some really big people at this party, and then also mixed with like other influencers, like maybe some small ones, medium, like whatever size, doesn't matter. But there was a lot of influencers there, and I first got there into the little TikTok booth and stuff, and was talking to everybody, and everywhere I went, people would just look you up and down, like, especially the girls were the worst. They'd look you up and down like, what's this bitch doing here? And I felt so out of place, like I was trying to be lovely to everybody, trying to be welcome to everybody, and the looks you would get. And even in the middle of a conversation, like we were stood in a group, right, and there were like four boys and maybe like 5 girls. We were all in this like big group of people chatting, and like they would be all talking and stuff, and I would say something, and one of the girls would just completely cut me off, like in the mid, like everyone listening to me, and one of the girls there that kept looking at me completely cut me off in the middle of what I was saying. She was like, yeah, whatever, but, and then like carried on. I was like,
that's the thing, everyone wants to be everyone wants to be the star, the center of attention.
I was just like, wow, like I don't think that's ever happened to me, like just so rudely as well, like, yeah, all right, but, and then turn around. I was like, what the fuck?
Did anyone say anything?
No, they just sort of kept, because she has 800k, right?
Oh, wow.
I'll get to it. So she had 800k, so everyone was like, she was like one of the biggest ones in the little group that we were talking about. So everyone was like,
how many were you on at that point?
1 million.
Interesting. Yeah.
But I was being nice to everyone. No one knew my following. I don't mention it. Like, I'm not like, hey, I have 1 million followers. Like, be my, like, no. Like, I literally do not mention it at all unless someone like asks me. They're like, oh, what do you do for a living? Or like, oh, let's see your Instagram and stuff. Then they find out, because I am never the first one to just be like, I have 1 million. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you know who the fuck I am?
Like, just shut the fuck up, bro. Like, humble yourself.
Get out my way, Miss Million.
Like, please, just humble yourself. Like, calm down. Numbers aren't everything. Numbers do not make you a good person. Like, just shut the fuck up. I hate people that do that. But yeah, so she cut me off. Everyone was like, whoa, what the hell? Like, they were, whatever, carried on talking to her because she, was the follower one of the group. And then one of the guys eventually, further into the conversation, asked me like, oh, what do you do? Like, are you on TikTok as well? And then I explained like, no, I'm mostly on Instagram, but they like sort of, brought me over to the platform and stuff. And he was like, oh, let me see your Instagram. So I was like, yeah, sure, okay. Showed it to him. He was like, oh my god, like just shouting in the middle of the group. I was like, oh my fucking god. He was like, oh my god, this girl has 1 point something million followers. And instantly, it was almost like they all were my best friends. And I was stood there like, what the fuck? Like, you guys are trash. Like, not everyone at the TikTok event was bad. I made loads of friends, don't get me wrong. Just that little group I was talking to at first. I was like, you guys are fucking trash. Like, really? Now you want to be my best friends now that you know how many followers I have? Is that all you fucking care about, man? Oh.
I am so
This is honestly, but I'm like, this pisses me off so much. Because it's like, is that all my value? Like, is that all you see me as? Like, you don't know how to just be nice to another fucking human being without knowing how many followers I have? Like, fucking shut the fuck up, man.
I feel like it's kind of like when guys might see this as like, I don't know if guys can relate to this, but this might be a thing when you could just be a normal guy in the club. But if a girl was to maybe then find out you have money, not all girls, by the way, or your job, they'll instantly latch onto you. But if you were just like, if you had a different job,
They
then
were dressed like a bit, not wearing like Gucci.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
it wasn't obvious what you do or why you were there. They literally wouldn't bat an eyelid at you, or like
wouldn't give a shit.
Do you know what I mean? I just think it's similar to that.
Yeah, very similar to that. And it was like the thing is, right, it wasn't even like low key.
Yeah.
It was like
So obvious.
like a change. As soon as he mentioned it, everyone was like, it was like I was like the last like prey in like a sea of piranhas. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the like in my head I was genuinely like, I just thought you guys were just like, I don't know, just rude people. I don't know, whatever. And like when that happened, I'm like, it honestly, like I wanted to cry. Like being really real and honest, like I really wanted to cry because I was like
used almost.
It's not that I felt
used, but
it's not that I felt used. It was just more like it's just so sad to me that like you only treat me decently when you know how many followers I have. Like I would never, man. I don't. If I meet someone, it doesn't matter who the fuck they are. Like I'm like nice to everybody, and the fact that some people can do that genuinely like breaks my heart. And when they were nice to me after, I was like, this is the fakest thing I have ever seen in my life. And then that girl, she actually like she came over, talked to me. She was like, oh hi, like where do you live, like blah blah blah. And I'm like, you despised me 0.6 seconds ago before you knew how many followers you are like I had, and now you suddenly want to be my best friend. Fuck you, bro.
That
Fuck
goes back
you.
to like the point of how influencers are friends with influencers, and like, do you know that circle and that cycle, and you see them commenting under each of his photos. It's always the same ones. Like, do you know what I mean?
God.
It does sound like a little cult almost.
Yeah.
Not all of them again, but like,
have to reiterate. Not all of them, but
we should really have a disclaimer at the bottom the whole time.
disclaimer: if you're an influencer, not all of this applies to you, unless
if you relate to it.
If you relate to it, if you get offended by it, then maybe it does.
Yeah,
that's
up to you.
That's up to you to decide. Just don't be a shit person, and none of this relates to you. But yeah, like I don't get very like teary very often or sad very often. But like I wasn't even sad when they were rude to me. I don't care. You could be rude to me. I've met many rude people. Whatever, people are rude sometimes. I don't give a fuck. But what made me sad was that switch, and it kind of set in a little bit, and I was like, this is what we've come to. Like this is what the world has come to, especially of like the influencer space. I'm sure it relates to like money as well. That people only treat you with decency and respect when they have something to gain from you is really fucking sad in my eyes. Like it's something that hits me. It hits me really hard, and like I don't want to like cry, but you know what I mean. It's devastating, man. Like it's genuinely devastating. But and then she
off like a number which like is not that it's not real, but it's a figure like that. If that went away tomorrow, would that mean that like she wouldn't have even looked at you there? Like I don't know, like.
And it's almost like what? So you can only be nice to people that have something that you want. Like, is that what the world's come to? So if there's like a homeless man on the street, you're just gonna kick him in the face? Like, come on, man. Like everyone is a fucking human. Like there's no you're not better than someone just because you have followers or just because you have money. Like nothing makes you better than someone. Obviously you might be more successful, sure, like you might be better at business, you might be better in like you have more experience in your field of work or whatever the fuck, but
whatever the fuck
but it does not make you a better human than someone. Like it doesn't mean that you can treat someone like shit. It doesn't mean that you can like spit on like the person when they're down. It doesn't mean that you have to be an absolute right cunt, like I don't know, it's just sad. But
I get that.
It's like a funny situation to be in.
I think that's interesting for people to hear as well, who like obviously wouldn't get the chance to maybe go to those events and be around so many of them at the same time. Like it's just interesting what might occur, and the stories that you've been through as well.
Definitely. And the thing I always do, like how I know if I'm going to be friends with someone is when like for example, I've met some people in this building and they didn't fucking know who I were. They
didn't know fucking who I were.
I mean, they don't know who I am, sorry. Pretenses, I don't even know. Whatever. They don't know who I am, like, and when someone shows you kindness knowing nothing about you, like instantly I know like they're a good person, you know what I mean? Like I like you. You're someone that I can talk to, you know, you're someone that I can actually see if I could be friends with. But that's why I don't mention it. I don't mention it at all. Like I keep it quiet, because that's when you really see who's just a decent person.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense.
It's like those videos, right, where like a millionaire will walk into like a Gucci store or Chanel store, and they'll have on like just joggers, sweatpants or whatever, and they'll record like the actual employees just treating them like a piece of shit, and then they'll come in like half an hour later dressed in like designer and Gucci, and then instantly they're treated like royalty.
Oh wow, it's so
up.
true though. Like even when, like if you're in sweatpants going around Selfridges, for example, the staff literally won't even look. They won't even bat an eyelid.
They'll give you like the disgusting like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, but if you're walking around in designer, they're hounding you. Is there anything I can help with? Would you like me to get that another size?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fuck off.
It's like you can't judge someone. You can't judge a book by its cover. Like you don't know what the person does. Again, referring back to the thing we were talking about before. Like look at
the richest people in the world.
You'll meet them like, you know, you'll see them walking around and stuff. They'll literally be in like rags. Like they don't give a fuck.
Rags to riches.
There's a person that comes to mind. He's literally an actor. I can't place his name, but I'll pop his. Tom, if you could pop his photo on the screen, I'll send it to you. But this is the guy I'm on about, and he literally walks around like just so chilled, and like if no one actually knew what he did for work, like you wouldn't think like, oh yeah, he's rich. But yeah, it's one of those. Really quick before we finish this little segment, there's also like princes and stuff that will like go to a different country but like act as if they're poor, and then see which girl like actually still falls in love with them, and then they'll reveal like, oh, by the way, I'm a rich prince and I have 30 million. Well, I don't know if that's a real thing, but I've seen it in like a movie or like a
I was like, what?
But like I'm sure that there are actually like rich people that maybe would do that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah,
just to see like who
actually likes them
for like who you are rather than what you have. But yeah, guys, that was that bit of the podcast. We're gonna literally answer like a few questions, and then pretty much let's just go through some of these that you guys have sent in. Any shady requests from brand sponsors? Definitely not from like my current sponsors, but I've had just brand deals that were really shady. Like I don't know if you know, like guys know like Bang Energy. I don't know if Bang Energy. You've probably seen it somewhere on Instagram, and like they were like, yeah, you have to just make a video of you talking about how much you like the owner and like how you want to like get everyone to follow the owner of the brand. I'm like, what? Yeah, like, what? Like that's so
I really like this
weird.
guy. You should go follow him. What the hell?
Honestly, so bizarre. But that was one of them. How many famous celebs / like musicians tried to hit on you?
Oh my god! Wow, I want to know. I should have asked this.
I'm not dropping any names, but there have been like a few, but I just don't reply because one, I have a boyfriend, and two, like usually when, let's say, just as an example, not saying he slid in or whatever, just as an example, like someone like, I don't know, Chris Brown or whatever, like slided into someone's DMs.
I genuinely don't know if this has happened or not either.
No,
I just thought it was a funny example.
It hasn't. But let's say someone like that, like of that stature, I don't know.
Yeah,
status.
status. Yeah.
Status, size. If someone, and a rapper like that raps about bodies and shit, someone slid into like a Insta girl's DMs, like what do they really want?
Yeah.
You know
How many
what I mean?
Insta girls DMs have you slid into?
Yeah, and it's just like you don't want to be my friend. Like you know what I mean?
We're here to fuck.
Like, you don't want to be my friend. So I just don't even bother replying because back to everything else, like, I don't give a shit like how big you are, how much money you have. Like I can make my own money. I can do my own thing. I don't need like to screw someone to get to the top. Yeah, it's just not my. If you want to do that, go ahead. Just not my style, you know. Would you be screwed if Instagram got banned and you didn't have your job anymore? I actually wouldn't, just because investments. Invest. Don't rely on just one thing. Don't rely on, especially like a random like social media app that might just get like hacked and just disappear tomorrow. Like it's just silly to rely on one thing. So spread your income out, you know, invest, index funds, crypto. like, yeah, save up, buy like even if it's like a tiny little house, like save up and buy like a small little shed or something, because you always have somewhere to go back to. You can either renovate it, rent it out. Like there's just so many options. So yeah, I wouldn't, it would hurt a lot, but I wouldn't be like doomed. Yeah. Do you check your DMs? Lol, 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 lol. Yes, I definitely do. And whenever there's like a reasonable question or like a nice DM, not something like weird, then I always reply, or I try my best to reply to as many as I can, but I don't really reply to like the weird ones. You know what I mean? Are all influencer friendships transactional? Seems like 99.9% of these friendships are all fake. Yes, pretty much. We touched on that, but yes, that's like actually the majority of these questions are just stuff we've talked about. So I might just leave it there, because we did actually talk about pretty much all of this. We hit the nail on the head with like what we covered.
And it's interesting that people are asking things that we already talking about.
Yeah.
Like I just think that's cool.
So I feel like we really hit the nail on the head with this one. So all of those questions, next time we'll do another Q&A, but we sort of answered like pretty much all of the good questions in there. So yeah, guys, I really, really hope you enjoyed this podcast. This is definitely, we were a bit nervous for this one. Definitely a little nervous, because there's so much that is very real and raw in this one. As you could probably tell, I got a little heated, but it's just, I wanted it to be as transparent as possible and just really get everything out and show you guys all the behind the scenes and what things are really like. So I really hope you enjoyed. Please, please, please leave a comment down below with any opinions, criticism, positive stuff, literally anything you want to say. I'm going to read it. I'm going to respond to you. So whatever it is, whether it's be like positive, negative, doesn't matter. Please do feel free to leave your honest, real and raw, transparent opinion down below. That's what we want here. So please, please, please do that. And I really want to be like super like involved with this community and replying to all of you guys and taking on board suggestions and, you know, really listening to what you guys like want from these podcasts and what you think of the topics as well that we covered. So please let me know. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's still recording as well, so that's good. I will see you guys hopefully next Wednesday, and have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Missing someone.